7 o'clock, I'd like to open up the Port of Siuslaw Commission meeting. It's Wednesday, March 21st, 2018. All the commissioners are present. Commissioner Dave Huntington is the interim port manager. Does that suffice for a call to order?
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
think so,
Is
Terry.
he's not acting as a commissioner tonight, he's acting as port manager, isn't that
He
right?
wears-
He can act as both.
I was informed by our attorney that
You
I
can do both?
I can do both, unless there's a conflict with an issue that I have that we're voting on.
Good
I
news,
can-
because five's good.
Yeah.
Well, it puts you in a position, you can declare that conflict to
Yeah.
us before you
Yep.
enter a discussion.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Sorry,
Information.
Ron.
We have approval of the agenda. I imagine that's by consent. Any changes to the agenda?
None?
Okay. Public comment. Anybody signed up, Kelly?
No.
Ron, did you have time to sign up, or would you like
No, I'm cool.
to? Okay.
In fact, cold would be better, cold and wet.
The next item would be approval of minutes by consent. Have the commissioners had a chance to review the past minutes?
No corrections on that part.
Yeah, I'm
Everything
good.
Yep.
Okay, we'll approve the minutes by consent. The approval of the financials by consent. I'll turn this over to Kelly.
Okay, so the bills paid in February were $111,314.03, which is $52,000 more than normal because of our insurance payment for our liability insurance. Campground occupancy was up 3% over last year. Mortgage was up 1% over last year. And then behind your occupancy report and behind number 5 tab is the profit loss comparison yearly that Bill, you had asked for every once in
Yeah.
a while.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Any questions?
Not at this point, I don't think.
At this point here, I will consider the financials are approved by consent, and we'll move on to some new business and hand it back over to Kelly.
So next month's meeting on the 18th falls on the same day as the PCC conference in Coos Bay, which Bill and Dave and Tracy are going to be attending. So we were thinking we probably should move the meeting to the next week, 25th. If you guys decide to do that, it has to be done by a motion.
I would so move.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's good to know why it was moved.
Yeah, just because it's a conflict and they won't be here. So.
Well, that was quick and easy, thank you.
Uh-huh.
So, take note, it is next month, the 4th Wednesday of the month.
So 4/25 at 7 o'clock. Okay. We still have 2 vacancies for the budget committee. I've gotten 1 application so far. The deadline's on March 30th. So I'm wondering if you want to do an executive session before the next board meeting on the 25th, because we need to discuss the applicants and assign them to the budget committee if they're approved.
Is that an executive session? I mean, do we need to do that in executive session? That's not a
Dina said-
personnel thing.
Because you're mentioning names and you're discussing a person that has applied, it would have to be done in an executive session.
Yeah, I guess that, does that sound right, David? Do you?
Yep.
Dina said the same thing to me, so.
Or we can schedule it for any time after the 30th. I was just wondering if you wanted, when you want to do it, so that we can get the committee set up.
Scott, we got 1 applicant, is that what you said?
One
so far?
applicant, and there's 2 vacancies.
Yeah, well, we're
Okay.
not gonna get many, so.
Can we ask the manager to do the background check on that person?
I,
And not
Believe
have a
so.
meeting?
Prior to our meeting?
Okay.
Does that make sense, Mike?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
we're just
is
talking
that what
about,
we t-
we're just talking about a budget committee member. I mean, it's not like we've got 4 or 5 or 6.
Does there
Not-
have to be all the checks?
We'd be lucky if we get 2
I don't
unless
know.
we bring
I
somebody.
think it's just somebody willing to serve, you
Generally,
accept them.
generally speaking, we just bring somebody.
Okay, we
Yeah.
don't have to do them. I'm just gonna say, let's cover our bases, so if there's some kind of check or whatever we gotta do, let's do it. But if there's nothing to do, I understand.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't recall that, but.
so we ought to be able to the meeting before, in a work session.
Yeah, a half hour before is fine.
Yeah, executive session, cause it needs to be private because of names.
Okay, and then we come back into the open session, and
And appoint them.
sure.
And I did put out another ad, and so I don't know if I'll get any more applicants, but at least you would discuss the one person and appoint them.
I've been
if
hearing it
that's-
on the radio
Yeah.
several times today.
Good, good.
Now that you say that, I'm thinking, I mean, to be on the budget committee, as long as they have a pulse, that's what I meant.
No,
Let's just
we
go
got-
back.
We have higher standards than
Yeah.
that.
And Mike, you were asking about the payoff on the 40 acres that we have the payoff due December of the 216,000 and talking about possibly refinancing it if it doesn't sell. Banner Bank said that if we were gonna start that process, we'd start it in September. So
Okay.
Good.
if it doesn't sell by then and we need to start the process, that'd be the time to do it.
Has there been any interest at all? You haven't
I haven't
None.
heard anything?
Absolutely none.
Would it be possible to just have, one of Dave, would you contact
Make
our
a call,
realtor?
yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was supposed to give us monthly updates.
I did too. If you remember, I think that was something he said.
Yeah.
On that renewal date, that's gonna go on a calendar to, that's gonna tickle us that we have to, begin the process.
I have September flagged for me.
Good, good. I knew you would, but I had to ask.
Okay.
Otherwise, I was gonna put it on my calendar.
No, they have it on the
Okay.
calendar.
Because chances are we're gonna have to refinance, but we'll see. Things could change.
Okay, and the last thing I have is, we received the new health insurance renewal from John Murphy today, because I needed the numbers for budget. And he said normally, or previously, Bob used to sign the renewal for the insurance, the health coverage and dental coverage and vision. But last year they had, or Stephen had a commissioner sign for the renewal. So I have it here with me and it's just renewing as is, same coverages for everybody. But it actually went down by $164.94 for the premiums each month. So I just kinda need to know, does the commissioner wanna sign that, or do you want the manager to sign?
Why not have our interim manager sign it? I mean,
Yeah, that would be.
That would be,
more official.
Okay, cause yeah, it's just as is, nothing's changing, it's just lowered by a little.
can I ask a question? Why would is it because we have less employees, obviously?
And it has 6 on here, which is, John said is the amount that we've always put on there. The premium is just maybe, I don't really
It would
know
be-
why.
Yeah, experience factor, but,
It could be how much it was used or not used,
And experience factor could have played into it this year.
yeah. So, okay, I'll have to sign that, and that's all I have for new. And move to old?
Sure, old business.
one question, Terry, under, new business. We've discussed, contacting the small districts for an interim. I was wondering, David, have we made any, inquiries into that process?
Dina made an inquiry, and we have not heard back anything yet, so.
So we have to wait till they determine if they can find somebody
Yes,
or whatever?
Exactly, that's what,
Okay.
kind of what we're waiting on now.
Should be hearing from George Dunkel as soon as he knows something.
So it is in the works, and we're
Yep.
just waiting for a response, okay.
I
that-
saw
that
the
was
email that Dina had sent to him.
Good, that's what I was curious about, thank you. No more new business, Mr. Chairman.
Anything else, Mike? Ready to move on? Okay, old business,
Okay, so, Jack Aiken got the final joint application permit, sent in. Dina and Wendy from the city signed off of it. So it's been submitted, it's in the works, and how long it takes, Jack doesn't think long, but what we've been hearing is it could be 90, 120 days.
Then that puts us out of our water work time, doesn't it?
No, not
In water?
necessarily, because we were gonna be out of the water anyways on that project.
So it isn't going to matter?
No, it's not gonna affect it, I don't think, but I did talk to him on the phone too, and just because I wanted to get an update, and the permits, the joint permit has, been sent in. He expects 100% funding on the project still, and more than likely with the time frame that we were using as April to do that project, that's gonna be pushed way back, because he seems to think that they're gonna expedite the permit, but everything that I've looked at says it's gonna be like 90 to 120 days for this to be processed, so. And then that brings us into our busy season here at the RV park, and I don't know if that's when we wanna be working on this project, so.
I wonder what kind of options we'd have at that point, Dave, in terms of pushing it back to
You know,
trying to picture that.
maybe next year, I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
If it's out of water, does it matter?
But generally, the in-water work period is in the winter months.
Well, yeah, but if that's not affecting us already,
Oh, it's not.
From what I understand, just talking to him, that our work is gonna be at the point now that's out of the water, that we're not gonna have to worry about that. And it's just.
so we could
it's-
work it in whenever it's,
But-
that
It's
already.
just a matter of when we're gonna be busy at this RV park out here. Do we wanna do it at that time when we have people back there?
And our busy
Right.
season
Yeah.
ends what, end of October?
Yeah, something like that, end
So-
of October.
So we could push it to the end of October, and if all parties can make their calendar work.
Can I offer just one bit of advice? You're gonna get your best price here, we're gonna get our best price here. The further off into winter you put that, because it's a job that can be performed in the rain, it's not muddy. We have no one using the park that time. You're gonna have 50 dump truck loads going out and 50 dump truck loads coming in of material. They're gonna haul away spoils. There'll be a lot of traffic, so let's wait till salmon season's done and Christmas is over and
Nothing's falling apart yet. I mean,
No,
It's-
it's gonna-
badly.
No, it's fine.
no, we'll get the best value for our money. We'll have a better contractor pool, because if you do it at the end of October, all your contractors are busy. You'll have everybody hungry in the middle of winter wanting to work, so
Okay.
okay.
I think
I'll touch base with them again and find out for sure.
That we can do it in the winter months
Yeah.
with no problem.
that would be the only exception, I think. 'Cause-
Yeah, I agree with Terry, good point.
well, the liability of trying to do it even between now and May
With
is,
campers in.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to disrupt our busy season.
well, they'll be tracking mud, which they'll probably be tracking anyway when they do it, but anyway, that's enough said. Manager
Mm-hmm.
reports?
Well, I have one thing to report. We've been talking about selling the dredge material back there, and ran into an issue where we're gonna kind of have to go at this a little different way, because we have to keep the perimeter of that site intact if we plan on using it again to put material back in. So, you know, I don't know, Terry, I've talked to a couple different people and got a couple different stories on that, and I think we can access it. We may just have to come at it a little bit differently than just, you know, starting to remove it from anywhere. So you might need to come down and just with your experience, kind of show me where you think we should access it and how I know we're gonna be able to access it. We wanna keep it at one area, so.
one thing, I think we talked earlier about that, David, your office, but you suggested this biker hiker?
By the hiker-biker path, just because there's, firm ground there to work off rather than going into the sand, building another road in there somewhere.
I think you're gonna find better dredge spoils too, because I think at the back end, remember Jason talking about buried logs and.
Yeah, and
debris?
that's the back end, I believe that we have a weir back there, that's how that material drains, so I don't think that.
So
that
if we
would
work
be-
off the front end,
Yep,
yeah.
And that means dismantling the,
well, no, we'd be
Little
working above the hiker-biker area, and I just don't think we can dismantle the perimeter of the whole thing, because that perimeter was there for dredge spoils to go into, and that was built before we even put dredge material in there.
but you can get at the spoils without
Yeah, I've been,
through the
I-
other.
I've been told that we can, we'll still be able to, because we have to be able to remove the dredge material somehow
Right.
if we're gonna plan on using it again, so. It's just a matter of, not disturbing the perimeter as much as we thought we were gonna be able to, so.
David, did you get a chance to ask him if we perforate the bowl? You're
Mhm.
talking, right now we have a bowl and the spoils go into the bowl. But if we pick a section that we're gonna, and initially we would be removing material from that section of the
Yeah.
bowl to get to the interior. As long as we rebuild the bowl, when we're done removing, we're probably not gonna get in trouble with the,
We'll probably be fine.
okay.
It's not a matter of us getting in trouble. I mean, there's no trouble to get into, am I right, Dave?
I don't think there's any trouble.
But it's gonna save us money down the road, because we would have to
rebuild that perimeter.
So
Yeah.
we'd have to rebuild the perimeter before we started pumping into it. It's
Okay.
not like a regulatory agency's gonna come along and
Okay,
say,
yeah, that's what I
Okay.
misunderstood.
Yeah.
So what do we have around the outside, Terry? Rocks
just
and-
vegetation, sand that's
Okay.
Just the
accumulated.
berm.
We just don't want to
Yeah.
disturb it as much as little as, or we want to disturb it as little as possible.
Well, Terry, then.
Yes.
So we've kind of been telling everybody to bring their own loader, and I don't think we ever thought about where they're gonna approach it to take material out of there, so, I mean, we're gonna have just to designate one area and kind of let them know how they need to get the material out of there too, so.
That's the one thing I'll mention before I forget. In your ad, you need to put loader and U-Haul.
Yeah, okay.
You load and haul, because it says U-Haul, so they come down here
Yeah.
and pick up, and they want you to load them.
Yeah.
And you probably do it with a shovel, wouldn't you, David?
Is there any interest in,
There has been a little bit of interest. We've got a list going, but
Good.
no real big amounts. I think it's been like 20 yards here or there, something like
Yeah,
that.
there's 5 or 6 people on that list.
Yeah. And as far as other things go, we've got the old Coast Guard shack. We've removed that. I was kind of under the impression that the Coast Guard was going to do that, and so I got in contact with them. They said they weren't going to have time, and so I just told maintenance to go ahead and go out there and do it, and so it's done.
Nice job too, Dave.
The terra firma has completed the sidewalks. The handicap ramp on Noble Street has been completed, and so we're working on stuff. I mean, there's, I'm kind of getting the feel for what maintenance is doing out there, what's going on in the office, and, we're all working together, and it's been fun so far. So.
I wanted to pass along a compliment I got from a citizen about how nice that handicap ramp is at the
It did
end
turn
of
out
the
good.
parking lot. And how, first of all, how expeditious support was in addressing that after it was brought to our attention, and then I also got compliments on how well it was done. I got a chance to walk by it this morning after hearing those comments, and I agreed with them. It looked excellent job. So pass that along to the staff that it was sure appreciated.
And I've kind of been out walking the docks and, talking with customers and stuff like that, and letting them know if there's any issues, my door's always gonna be open. They can I'm very approachable. They can come in and talk to me, and hopefully we can straighten out some of this stuff, and you know, I can be able to bring it to your guys' attention. And you know, everything's been working really good. I mean, staff has been so helpful. You know, we all get along great. It's been good. It really has been. And I think as far as that goes, that's all I have for you guys. It's been a short week for me, and I don't have much else.
Yeah, but now we only have a 2-hat board instead of a 3-hat board now that he's manager, so
I noticed that.
yeah.
Yeah, now you get to see how little hair I actually have.
Nancy, did you recognize in this meeting?
Did they tell you I did not know you the other night?
Because I didn't have a hat on.
I've never seen you like that.
And he also got a haircut and trimmed his beard. I mean,
Honest to Pete, I was going to introduce myself to you.
When I came in early and saw you in the window, I didn't know who the heck it was.
so you're doing good, David. I like it.
They
Thank you.
all
Should have went
just,
and robbed the bank. And got away with it.
Yeah.
Commissioner reports. Mike?
None from me.
I have been to the city council meeting twice and watershed meeting, and that was about dunes recovery, and a report from Ron Caputo about the STEP program. That was a good program they had that night. Okay, and city council again in March, and city council last night. There was no Lane Act meeting this month, which was kind of nice. And there is a watershed meeting on the 28th, and this one is restoring the dunes. And it's a little bit more into it with all of the work that's being done everywhere around. And this meeting is at Mapleton.
Good meeting to go to.
It would, because I've been to 2 now where different things are happening, and they're talking about getting some of that,
European
It's-
beach grass.
well, not just that, but there's gorse and there's scotch broom and other non-native plants that they're taking out because they want to have the native ones. The one area for it's what is snowy plover. They nest in open sand, and they like a little bit of cover, so the beach grass works, but this other stuff doesn't because it lets predators hide, and so all the work to try to recover the plovers is being lost, and the dunes are being lost. They've had comparison pictures between the 30, 40 years since the grass was being put in there, how the dunes are getting smaller and smaller.
Oh, yeah.
So if you get a chance, go. It's at 6:30 at the library.
Do they have a speaker?
Yes, and the whole program.
Good report. Bill?
I had to miss the Chamber of Commerce meeting this month, so I didn't make it, but I did make the Urban Renewal meeting, and I'm just getting up to speed. That was my first meeting. I'm keeping my eyes and ears open. The port, as you well realize, is within the Urban Renewal boundary, and so there's a possibility that at some point we may be able to maybe enjoy some funds coming our way for the right projects if we find the right partners and make the right presentations. For as an example, when we go to redo our campgrounds, that the coast here is very important to Eugene and Lane County, so they're what I'm going to keep my eyes open for is any opportunity to do some cooperation with the Urban Renewal District and Lane County. But again, right now I am new to the process and just trying to get acquainted with what all they do and what all may be available to us. But I'm gonna be actively engaged.
Good job. One thing I was gonna ask before we close, any status on our sign?
Not really. Bill I know Bill had mentioned, about the dolphins being the pillars.
Yeah.
About being a little bit more,
Maritime.
yeah, and so I did see something in the office about a bid that came in for those pillars, and something else was brought to my attention today about the material that we have back in the back that we took out of the river, our
Debris booms?
debris brooms, the logs. And, you know, didn't we send an email to George today about that? Because somebody wants that material in trade for doing the pillars and possibly a couple benches and stuff for us. So I hadn't got any information back on that being public surplus, about how we could go about doing that as some kind of a trade. So,
Are those cedar logs?
yeah, they are. Yep.
Okay.
Either way, if you go to sell them, it has to go on public surplus, so everybody has a chance.
Okay.
If it is for trade, anybody else that would want them for trade, that has to also
Okay.
be public, so everybody has a chance to make their bid for them.
And that's western red cedar, not Port Orford cedar.
Yeah,
Port
I'm not-
Orford wouldn't be that size.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it's good looking material. I mean, a chainsaw carver, you know, somebody that works with that kind of wood would
Cedar
love it.
logs are. Okay, let's make sure we get value for it. I know
Can that be advertised on the, you know, the
Public
things? that-
surplus,
Yeah.
that's what I think we're gonna get clarified.
Okay.
I mean, I just today was when it was brought to my attention about somebody actually even wanting that material, so.
Yep.
I think it's a noble cause, but I think, wait and hear what Dunkel has to say.
Yeah.
But you probably have to go the public surplus route, wouldn't you?
That's what he did say, he got back to me.
Okay.
Don't you have other items, Kelly, in the back lot you could also put on public
There are a
surplus?
few other items back there, we might as well do them all at one time if we're gonna do it.
Put them all in one package.
Oh, well, maybe,
Yeah, that's something we can look forward to then, maybe at the next meeting, then, is just
getting the value.
declaring public surplus.
Is there anybody that does portable milling in the area? Let's say we wanted to utilize some of those logs to create our own posts, even though they weren't round. Let's say they were 8x8, 10x10 cedar beams that could be milled out of that. But
And there's
no Mighty Mite mills or anything like that around.
there's quite a bit in those as far as spikes and other
Okay.
stuff like that. I don't know that anybody would really want to use that for milling material. It'd be a lot of work to
No.
get that stuff out
Enough
of there.
said. Yeah. Enough said. I'd forgotten about the spikes you drive in there to locate them. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of hardware on those.
Okay.
It might not hurt to have your crew metal detect them and remove what
Yeah.
they can, because that could be a potential, you sold them to someone and they got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least make them thoroughly aware of what
Make a
they use.
disclaimer,
Yeah.
correct. Anything else, Dave?
No?
If everybody's in agreement, we will consider this meeting closed. Thank you, and we'll see you the 25th of April.
I think you set a record, Terry. This is the 9 months I've been on the commission.
Absolutely.
First in a long time.
Yeah.